Today on PewView, we are talking about one of the greatest cowboy inventions of all time. And no, I'm not talking about spurs or assless chaps. I'm talking about the lever action rifle. A gun so American, it should come with a free bald eagle every time you buy one.
Gosh almighty, that is good!
But this story starts way before Clint Eastwood was ever squinting at a camera. The concept of a lever-action rifle started way back in 1848 with a guy named Walter Hunt, the guy that invented the safety pin, which ironically probably hurt more people than his first lever-action rifle ever did. He came up with something called the rocket ball, a lead ball filled with black powder packed inside, sealed with a primer cap, and that primer cap was something called fulminated mercury, which may ring a bell if you've ever seen Breaking Bad before.
Is not meth.
God, what a great clip, right? That same fulminated mercury was the primer to this little makeshift ball. Which, awesome concept, but, you know, it's a little bit dangerous. That's kind of how you miss some fingers. He called the first lever-action rifle the volitional repeater, but it was about as reliable as a McDonald's ice cream machine. Enter Lewis Jennings, a guy that kind of just looked at the design and said, yep, I'm going to steal that shit.
That was fun. I feel like a gangster.
He made about 1,000 of them things, but it was still unreliable. The ammo was weak as shit, and you couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, standing inside of the barn. So needless to say that it didn't exactly work out, but failure was not contagious. A couple of guys named Smith and Wesson saw some potential in the design. They bought the design, slapped their own twist on it, and came up with a volcanic pistol. Pretty cool looking pistol. Awesome concept, but still super weak ammo and kind of shot like sadness. But regardless, they formed the Volcanic Arms Company and started looking for investors. One of those investors was a shirt manufacturer by the name of Oliver Winchester. He bought 80 shares at $25 a pop. Dude had absolutely nothing to do with firearms, but made some dope merch. But if you want some dope merch, I got some. If you hit the link down in the description below, go to bunkerbranding.com/PewView. Shameless plug. So when the volcanic pistol design failed, again, Smith & Wesson kind of ventured off and did their own thing, which worked out pretty good for him. And then Oliver Winchester was left with the company, so he, thanks guys. Then in 1857, he hired a man by the name of Benjamin Tyler Henry. Might sound a little familiar. If you clicked on this video, you probably understand all of these last names so far. But it gets cooler. This dude wasn't just a gunsmith. As a teenager, he worked for Springfield Armory, which was a pretty big deal back then. They made the majority of like all of the military guns back then. So in 1860, Henry developed the first practical lever action ever made. This beauty right here. The first one was chambered in .44 rimfire. We'll get to that later. This is a reman by the current company, Henry, chambered in .45 long Colt. We've been talking a while. Let's go ahead and shoot this thing. So to load this thing, you gotta pull this little lever all the way up, and then the barrel twists, just like so. And then take your .45 long Colt, drop it in there. Which again, these first rifles were .44 rimfire, significantly underpowered. Certainly not a modern day .45 long Colt, but this is way cooler. And the original is probably like 10 times more than my house's worth. This will work just fine, right? Okay, so you can see in here all the exposed bullets in the back. You can probably see why in the dusty west, that could be an issue. Everything's top loading here. Oh. See, when this follower gets to your hand, then you got to move it on the other side of the barrel. Your hand gets really hot pretty fast. Get a little hard to hold on to. Before we get too far down this rabbit hole, we need to stop for a second and thank today's sponsor, Tacpack. Tacpack is a monthly subscription service that sends you tactical gear to your house once a month. You never know what you're gonna get inside one of these boxes, but they are always filled full of awesome gear, like this reptilian grip for your AR-15, some shooting glasses from Walkers, an Enforce WML weapon light. These things are actually pretty damn good. Shooting bag from Mission First Tactical, some patches, some stickers. These things are always filled full of awesome gear like stuff from Fab Defense, Mission First Tactical, CRKT, Battle Arms Development, 9-Line, 511 Tactical, you name it, they got all sorts of goodies inside of these things. Tacpack has 2-man tiers. They got the standard and the plus. The standard is going to cost you $59.95 ship, but the value inside the box is anywhere from $90 to $120. Tacpack Plus is going to cost you $139.95 ship, but that value is anywhere between $240 to $300. Always getting more than you're paying for, and you're always getting some new reasons to build a new rifle. And this month, Tacpack is celebrating Christmas in July, so anybody that uses code PEW at checkout on their Tacpack Plus is also going to receive a free box worth about $125 extra on top of your other box. This next Tacpack is also going to feature a $150 AR-15 part, and the next August Tacpack is going to be worth over $240, so don't miss your chance. Use code PEW at checkout, link down in the description. Now let's get back to the video. So we just shot that entire tube, and it's pretty damn hard to hold on to. The barrel gets extremely hot, and then you're kind of sitting here doing one of these to try to keep your hands out of the way, which surprisingly kind of stable. So the original 1860 gun can hold 16 shots, which today that's not bad, but in 1860 that's like showing up to a knife fight with a belt fit. This was like magic to those guys. So when the Civil War broke out, the US government bought 1,731 of these, but civilians, especially Union soldiers, bought another 6,000 to 7,000. Hell, even Abraham Lincoln had one of these things. He had serial number 6 of the 1860s, which is pretty fucking sweet, and it actually sparked a tradition. Almost every single US president has been gifted a Winchester rifle since Abraham Lincoln. It's like, here you go, you might need this. Even though these things were absolutely crazy and an extreme benefit on the front lines to having 16 rounds as fast as this thing could shoot, you were going against guys with fucking muskets and single shot. You were a baller if you had this bad boy, but it did have its shortcomings. Like I said, the exposed tube underneath just kind of let dirt and debris in there to ruin your day. And obviously, as we experienced, the barrel gets super hot and you got to move your hand away, and heat of battle, you're not thinking to do that. Gun probably jammed a lot. If it wasn't the dirt getting you, is your hand stopping this follower. So, it had some shortcomings. Which brings us to Nelson King. In 1866, he completely made this thing a whole hell of a lot better. As you can see, he added the wooden foregrip to get rid of the follower problem. He went internal with the follower, so everything's enclosed, no dust, no debris. He added a side loading gate, so everything's a little bit simpler, and this thing is a hell of a lot more comfortable to hold and tote and shoot. It's just a hell of a lot better of a gun. Obviously, they sold 170,000 of these fucking things. Also the same 44 rimfire cartridge, which kind of sucked, but is better than a single shot. But of course, in classic CEO fashion, Oliver Winchester claimed that he is the one that invented this. What a dick. This is the rifle that was nicknamed the Yellow Boy by the Native Americans that were here. This is the one that absolutely wrecked Custer and his boys. The Native Americans had these bad boys, and Custer and his men had single-shot Springfields. So, firefight was over faster than Dalton's Tinder dates over there. Like, the most interesting fact about Oliver Winchester was the phrase, "the gun that won the West," was the coolest fucking marketing technique of all time. That was so far from the truth. That was more of the, the single shot sharps 50 cal kind of stuff. This wasn't it. The big bores handled, the buffalo and the big fights, and then the Colt Peacemaker handled the diplomacy. But Winchester sold that narrative, and it absolutely stuck, because gun that kind of helped in some skirmishes doesn't exactly look great on a billboard. So gun that won the West. This one's got a nice side loading gate, so you didn't have to burn your hand and twist the barrel. It's also a closed loading gate, so not as much dust and debris in there to wreck your day. Again, this one is also a remake, so it's not the 44 rimfire bullshit. This one's also 45 long Colt, as it should be. This one feels so much fucking better. God, these things fucking smack. In 1873, Winchester finally made a gun with some oomph, the Model 1873, chambered in .44-40, which was the first center-fired round. More distance, more power, more boom. Now we're cooking. So here's where the story gets a little more interesting for me. So cartridges are getting a little bit more powerful now, and enter a man named John Moses Browning, the absolute Leonardo da Vinci of gun design. This man came in and designed about 12 different lever action guns, one of them being a 7.62 by 50 94R for the Russian military, but we are not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Winchester Model 94. I'm sure if you guys are familiar with lever action rifles, if Grandpa passed you down one when he passed away, this is probably it right here. The 94. These things are absolutely everywhere. This is the pinnacle of a 30-30 rifle. This is an original that was passed down to me. Makes me so happy that so many of these things are in use today, because when John Moses builds it, it's good to go forever. It stays built. So the Winchester 94, the John Moses Browning design, just kind of was the pinnacle of the lever action rifle. This is what everybody bought and stuck with. This was Grandpa's fucking hunting rifle. These are ones that are going to be passed down from generation. This is one that hangs on the wall in my living room, so I'm not going to shoot this thing because it's very pitted and very old. Used and abused. I'm just not going to, I don't feel like losing any fingers today. Awesome gun. But this is where lever actions kind of die off. Flash forward to 1996. Two guys by the name of Louis and Anthony Impierdo. I'm gonna botch the shit out of that. Impierdo? Some Italian guys, I don't know. But they launched a brand new company called Henry Repeating Arms. Of course, honoring Henry, the guy that invented the lever action rifle. So awesome play on their part, but they were specializing in these 22s. This is the H001 22 long rifle. I'm also sure if you guys are into lever action rifles, you probably got this one. The Henry Golden Boy 22. Every Iowan ever's got this bitch. My grandma's got 3 of these shits. Awesome, smooth little gun. This is kind of what everybody starts on around here, at least, but there has been millions of these fucking things sold, so I'm sure that's kind of the thing everywhere. But this is a perfect starter gun. It's simple, it's reliable, it's pretty inexpensive, all American made, awesome little gun. Now with these, you got the old little tube mag here. You can pop this thing out and then just kind of feed all your 22 ammo right in here. But obviously you don't need to pull this thing all the way out. There's a little slot right here cut out perfectly for your ammo. Then you can drop it in. I bet the birds are getting flashbacks. Me, 14 years old, out here with this exact same Henry. Such a smooth little rifle. So this kind of, you know, somewhat brought the lever action rifle back in the 90s. Just as I stated, it was a great starter gun. But also, a company called Marlin, who started in about 1881, really blew up in the 90s because they made really cool guns. They just made the big bore, the, you know, side ejecting. You can add optics on top of that without it looking like a weird steampunk fucking invention where you're, you know, strapping some weird optics to the top of your barrel. Marlin allowed you to do something a little more modern. But before we get to the more modern stuff, this is an 1894 44 mag Marlin rifle. I think the Marlin rifles are probably the most popular just because they make some of the coolest and, you know, like actual functional firearms. Like I can hunt with this. I can come out here and plink with this thing. Fuck, if you're living in a commie state, this would be a great home defense gun. Like I would hate to get hit by a fucking, what is it, 16-inch barrel 44? I've actually never shot this gun. It's fairly new to me. So it was actually a Marlin Dark series that got me back into lever action rifles. Like Marlin's kind of, you know, played their part in bringing people back into the community of shooting lever guns. Although they were pretty ass there for a while, they're not very reliable. I have had every Marlin of mine fuck up. But now Ruger owns them and they seem to be significantly better. So let's find out. That is not a 22. Holy fuck. Oh. Marlin made all these fun toys like this 1895 GBL 4570. These are the guns that got me back into lever action rifles. And I'm sure if you guys have watched any of the videos, you might know me because of a Marlin 4570. This is where I really fell in love with these things. These are Ranger Point Precision's furniture. They make literally furniture for every lever action rifle out there. Then, of course, after Marlin's popularity of all their tactical lever guns kind of stuff, Henry started doing the same type of stuff. They dropped their Model X series, which consisted of, all of the main calibers like 357, 44 mag, 4570, all of the fun stuff. This right here is a Model X chambered in 4570, made by Henry. Again, to keep up with the craze that Marlin was getting before they sold their company. But we'll get to the tactical Henrys in 1 minute. Because this is the pinnacle. This is the turning point, the full circle for me. Smith & Wesson, the OG lever action guys, fucking 150 years later, finally drops their lever action gun. This is the 1858, and goddamn it, they didn't name it the Volcanic. Fucking missed opportunity of a century. Why is this not named the Volcanic? Bothers the shit out of me. But anyways, so since Smith & Wesson came full circle with their 1854, chambered in 44 mag, I figured I would come full circle. Since lever actions kind of kicked off my YouTube career, I teamed up with Ranger Point Precision to give you guys what I think to be the coolest looking furniture for your lever action rifle. So if you're somebody that has a lever action laying around, a newer one, an older one, I'm sure we make furniture. We just started right here with the Smith & Wesson. Naturally, they came full circle, so we figured we'd start here. Now I got furniture for literally everything. As you guys seen on this Henry over here, this is also the PewView Edition furniture for your Henry Model X in any caliber. Again, I just kind of wanted to start right here because I love Smith & Wesson as a company. I'm so happy they finally started making lever action guns. And I gotta tell you, this thing is fucking amazing. It's got everything I like. It's got a little bit of a twist between a Marlin and a Henry. It took both things that I like from both companies and put it together in one package. It's reliable, it's smooth, it's got a flat face trigger. The Smith & Wesson guns are fucking amazing. And at the moment, I would say this is probably my favorite, modern lever action. And it just looked sick as hell. But I went one step further. Same gun, same furniture, but this one is decked out by Iron Monkey. They put their sweet ass twist on it. I put an ACOG and a suppressor on it so I can get as modern as possible when it comes to shooting a lever action rifle. So let's go put some rounds through this one. Yeah, this is kind of the entire point of this video. I'm just so happy that it came full circle. Smith & Wesson finally dropping their lever action just made me extremely happy. I have about 15 lever action rifles, so to have the pinnacle lever action decked out for me, this is my heirloom. This is something that I will pass down to my children in hopes they'll pass down to theirs. Just like the Winchester 94 was for me, I hope this is for my children. Now again, if you guys are interested in decking out your lever action, no matter what you have, no matter what caliber, head on over to Ranger Point Precision and grab your stuff set. I'll put a link down in the description below.
It's kind of cool that all of the big names had a part in making today's lever gun.
I think that's kind of the coolest thing that I've learned about this whole thing is how many gun manufacturers that are still in business today had a hand in making the lever action rifle. Like the lever action rifle was such an important part of American history. To understand this rifle helps you better understand our history as Americans. I think it had a hand in literally any fucking thing that we did to bring us to where we are now, right? And the Colt Peacemaker. Video coming soon. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this. Leave a comment down below if you didn't. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. I'd say as far as Henry goes, this is probably their most popular model. The Model X, chambered in 357, 38 special. It's inexpensive to shoot, but it still has that 357 Magnum cartridge capability if you would like to hunt with it, or just shoot the cheaper 38 special out here on the range, and it also sounds amazing suppressed. Probably one of my favorite rifles to take out and just plink with. I wouldn't necessarily go hunting with it. I tried. Feels about like a 22, except that it'll actually do something downrange. This one is also sporting the OG rail from Ranger Point Precision. This is what got me into the whole tactical lever action look, was this rail right here. Awesome rail. We made it better. What would you say is your favorite lever actions? Like, do you like the Henrys, the Smith & Wessons, the Marlins, the old-fashioned Winchesters? I think Marlins are a hell of a lot better now that Ruger bought them. I think they work a little bit better. I got two of the new Ruger-made Marlins now, and they are running much fucking better than my old Marlins. I gotta say that. If you guys are looking to get into the game, a Henry is definitely a good choice. The 357 38 special, this right here is a great starter point. Again, you can do a little bit of everything with it. Henrys are awesome. Currently, the Smith & Wesson is probably my favorite. This is my go-to, the 44 mag. I shot 1,400 yards with this thing, which is fucking nuts. I did that in the desert outside of Las Vegas about a month ago. 44 mag lever gun, not supposed to do that. This thing did. Right now, this is probably the top of my list. And also, while I'm at it, I forgot to mention, this is called the Pew Stop, another collaboration I did with True North Concepts. You guys have probably seen these in my videos. I don't talk about them much, but they are out there. They're for sale, and they are fucking sweet. I'll also put a link down in the description below if you guys want to grab yourself one of those.